Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming out today for the Ookanda elections. So as you've seen recently, there's been quite a few disputes between FancyOrb and CoconutB. And today, we're going to go and decide, or, and debate, more or less, who should be the mayor of Ookanda.
Yo, what the fuck?
And so FancyOrb and Coconut,
good luck.
Why don't you guys come up on the stands here, and we'll have some questions for you. For me specifically as your host, and for some of the audience members as well.
Thank you, Jack.
So let's start with some opening statements. FancyOrb, what do you think you could do for the people of Uganda? I'm not sure if it is.
Sorry.
There's no electricity.
Okay,
Yeah, there's no electricity. It's not working.
Because there's echo when you use it, actually.
Sweet.
So.
Could you repeat it, please?
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah,
you're
it's better.
speaking. You have to speak pretty loudly. We can't hear you over here.
Put that away. Put that away.
So, FancyOrb, what would you like to do for the people of Ookanda? Opening statements.
Yes.
What are you offering the people here?
Everyone here, I just want peace. That's simply how things go with me. I have this term I use called peace is profit. And that's why I didn't attack earlier today at Lighthouse. That's why I haven't gone and killed anyone or raided anyone. I'm here to support the community. And we don't want arguments. Every single person in here that has had problems with me or my team, we resolve things, we get things done without violence, and that's what we need to push. Because as you can hear outside, there's a lot of gunfire. So we need to protect this place. We need to put some, strict laws on here, and most importantly, no taxes. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Fancy. Mr. CoconutB, leader of Ookanda currently, I believe. What is your opening statement? What can you provide your people here?
Hello, everybody. My name is CoconutB, and I am rerunning this election against FancyOrb. What I can propose to give Ookanda is no taxes. I don't believe we should tax our hard-working citizens of Ookanda. Instead, the tax should come from our enemies that are outside of these walls. When I am president and I am re-elected, I promise to give each Ookandan a jackhammer and a chainsaw so they have the resources and tools to be able to survive in these harsh climates and world. Another thing, I will promise to destroy the Koreans that attacked our allies and our neighbors and fellow Ookandians, which are the pirates, which I will say that FancyOrb stood by and claims he wants peace, but he's willing to watch his neighbors die by enemies of the state and do nothing. I, for one, seem to reject that idea and notion, and I believe that in order to obtain peace, you must eliminate any negative entities. And that is what I will do when I am re-elected. I will promise to eliminate the Koreans that eliminated the pirates and continue to keep Ookanda a nation as one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. CoconutB. And so, I think Fancy and CoconutB, I think that leads to a great question that the Ookanda people have been wondering. National security. Do you feel, the audience members here, do you feel safe in Ookanda? I think these are some good questions to go and ask. And, Fancy, why don't you start us off with what's your thoughts on national security? What can you do for the people here tonight?
Yes. So, national security is definitely a big thing we need to talk about. Now, a few things that Coco here forgot to address is that the pirates had earlier run-ins with the Koreans, and they just inevitably had their
Here,
moment.
1 second, Fancy.
Okay.
1 second. Order in the court. Order in the court, guys. Please
think
be
they're
quiet
outside.
Come on, let him speak. Yeah.
So,
go right ahead.
Eventually, the pirates were going to get hit, but Coco here is trying to frame us. Now, we talk about national security and the Koreans, but guess who was talking to the Koreans in their own language? It was Coco. So, I want to direct it to him, because if he's talking about this national security, why is he so cool with them? Why, after he confronted them after the raid, he was so friendly with them? So, you got to understand that Coco here is playing both sides, trying to pit him. He's just trying to kick us out. I mean, you saw what he did with the walls. You saw what he's doing with the Koreans. He's trying to push it on us. And I just think there's a lot of misdirecting going on here. And it's unfair. Coco says that he's going to, charge and tax people outside the village. Well, guess who's outside the walls? My team's outside the walls. The pirates are outside the walls. Jenna XL's team's outside the walls. The resort is outside the walls. So does that mean we're all going to get taxed? are we really a part of Ookanda? So that's why I held fire, because I believe peace is profit. And in order to, protect our security, we need to make peace with people. So that is what I have to say. I didn't attack the Koreans. The Koreans didn't attack us. So if you elect me, we will be on good terms, because I'm already on good terms with them. Coco is not. He is the real danger. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fancy. CoconutB, what is your response, and what is your thoughts on national security for the people of Ookanda? Should they feel safe?
Number one, he explained that me being part Korean and being able to speak the language of Koreans is a danger to our society. I actually think the complete opposite. Me being able to speak Korean and being able to identify and talk and create talks with the Koreans and having a direct language and link to the Koreans could possibly get us to a place where we can be at peace with them. And are we really listening to a guy talk here about national security and protecting Ugandians when he literally saw his neighbors get burned down to a crisp, watch his neighbors respawn into their beds and die? Are we really going to elect this man as president and make him the leader? He just watched us die. And guess who was at the front lines putting my life in the line to protect the pirates? It was me and the OPD. We were the first respondents to that. We ran in without gear. We ran in with no weapons. We ran in with no armor. And we wanted to protect and save the pirates. But unfortunately, because of men like FancyOrb to my right here, Fancy said it has nothing to do with us, so we'll just watch. This man says profit is peace, or peace is profit. What I think he really means is I'm not risking my men to save you because I want to.
Thank you, CoconutB. All right, so I think that's, we had a good discussion there. In regards to the next topic I think is important is who's actually an Ookandian in some sense here, because, Fancy keeps mentioning people are living outside the walls. I would like to hear both your thoughts, and we'll start with FancyOrb. What's your thoughts on the immigration here?
So clearly, Coco has favorites. Let's be honest. Some of us are outside the walls, some of us are inside. Clearly, he has a close relations with the OokPD, who I know has been mistreating many people in this room, including myself. It's no surprise that they're corrupt. I mean, we saw yesterday. I don't know if Coco saw yesterday because he wasn't really here. But it's clear he has his favorites. Unfortunately, I am a victim and I can't say much about it, Jack. So that seems like it'd be more of a question to Coco, because I know if I was a leader, immediately everyone is getting walled into this village. We're all going to be one, and we're all going to be together. Thank you.
Thank you, Fancy. CoconutB, you take the floor. What's your thoughts on immigration? Who's actually an Ook here?
In my opinion, you are an Ook if you have a rock and torch. Everyone is fair to be an Ook. If you have suffered, if you have ran for something, if you live for something, in my heart, you are an Ook, and I will call you my brother, or I will call you my sister. Just because there's walls up doesn't mean that the people outside the walls don't deserve our help. We ran to the pirates that were outside the walls to protect them. OPD and I were the first respondents to help the pirates that were outside the walls, which completely goes against the stance that Fancy's trying to make, that I have favorites. I have barely interacted with the pirates since the start of this civilization, but still, I was down to put my life and OPD's life in the hands and risk our lives to help the pirates who we never interacted or talked with. While Fancy was a neighbor to the pirates. He woke up every single day when the sun was out and he looked at the pirates and waved at them. He probably shared a few conversations with the pirates. He even probably traded with the pirates. And then what? He sends all his men to go to the top of the lighthouse and watch the pirates die? Don't elect this man to be president. You can't trust this guy. You gotta trust me, the first respondent to the scene.
Thank you. Thank you, CoconutB. All right. So I feel like we're at the halfway point here in regards to the debates. I would like to go and have some questions from the viewers, specifically for John J. and Peaches. Are you here?
Hey, Jack. Hey, buddy.
All right. I do not see Peaches. Peaches. Yeah, come on this side here. It's like, yeah, right over here. Yeah, there you go. All right, John J., I believe you have some questions, you know, for FancyOrb in regards to the election. Go right ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, sure thing, buddy. You know, Fancy, you talk about leadership, about risking lives. But, Fancy, Ookanda means more than just being neighbors. We're brothers. Why should we risk our lives for you when you won't risk your life for us?
Yeah, I understand that concern. You know, just I have a different way of approaching things. You know, I told you I waved at the Koreans when they were attacking, and that was just my way of making peace. I don't believe in fighting because that's just going to lead to escalating things. If I fought back at them, they would come for me next. They would come for Jenna's team next, and then they would start breaking through the walls. So I think in order to put, you know, in order to protect everyone, there needs to be a peaceful way to approach things. I don't think everything needs to result in violence.
Well, that kind of leads
All
on to my
right.
next question, Fancy. You know, this is the first time you've been with us, okay? And you know, we've been together for a while. Me and Coco, we've dealt with everything. You know,
Yeah.
been through the thick of it together. How would you deal with this? You say peace is the way to win, but how have we won? You know, our neighbors have lost their bases, they've lost their homes. How should that be the way forward? How does that work, Fancy?
You know, you asked me what I would have done. Well, clearly I could have probably escalated that. I probably could have figured out the problem if I was in charge, but that's not me right now. I am not a leader, and that's why I'm applying to make this difference. You know, Coco is currently the leader, and I don't want to overstep that, but if it were me, I could have solved that problem, and they would not have been raided. But I have to protect me at the end of the day, because I'm not a leader. I'm not a leader yet.
nothing when you could have.
If I was a leader, I would have stopped that. I could have stopped that, but I'm not in that position.
I think, Fancy,
right.
just to extend onto that question a little bit, sorry, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real
John
leaders
J.
step
I'll give
up
you
when
some more time.
necessary.
There's a guy in our gear,
You had the opportunity to
the-
step up,
on the rock.
Fancy, and you didn't. And that's just how I feel. Maybe everyone else here feels that. I don't know.
You know,
But
John,
anyway,
at the
my
end of the
next
day, my
question-
team
Jack, just
My
one
team
last question.
feels
Okay,
like
go ahead.
we are not a part of the village because of that wall placement. So, you know, that's just the hard reality of it. That's how we felt, and I hope you can understand that because you guys don't know what it feels like to
Okay,
be
well,
out there.
I've got one last question.
Yeah, absolutely. Let John J. ask his question here.
Got
John,
us
you go
again.
right ahead.
It's fucking
I have one
long,
last question because Fancy, you just brought up the wall. Okay, now, you know Honda, my teammate over there, good guy, love the guy, Jeff. We put up the wall. You know, we protected Ookanda, and we got the resources for the wall from Ookanda. You never
getting
contributed
white.
anything. You know, like you want to lead us. What will you give us?
Yeah, well, I mean, simply, John, we had no idea the walls were going up. So you're right. Yes, you did do that on your own. Because I was not informed that the walls were going up. I was not informed that I needed to contribute, which we wouldn't have any problem. You see how many people we have, John. That could have been an easy thing we could have solved. And you know what? But did you ask Jenna's team? Because it's not just one person that you're targeting this on. You're saying I am the reason why I'm outside the walls. But
Oh.
what about Jenna? What about the pirates? And what about the resort? Did you ask them all? Because it seems like this is a little biased.
I know, Fancy. I know, Fancy. You know, raising your voice here in a heated discussion, it doesn't win. Okay. To answer your question, we did ask Jenna, and they gave us a box of stone for the walls. And we did ask your teammates, Fancy, but they just. But anyway, Fancy, that's enough. I have no more questions, Jack. No more questions, buddy.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, John J. The audience, please give a round of applause to the audience members asking questions here.
Yeah,
Cook.
good shit, John.
True citizens of our community. Thank you, John. We
John?
appreciate you.
So you actually
All right.
Chef.
Just, you know, a little bit of silence here, guys. All right. Peaches, you go right ahead. Do you have some questions for Mr. CoconutB?
Absolutely. So, Mr. CoconutB, where exactly were you yesterday at the start of White?
I was here. I came at the start of White. I was here.
Were you? Because I
Yup.
saw many of these fellow Wakandans online, but I don't believe many people saw you. Where
No,
were you
I
when the
ran
people
over
were
here.
gathering materials?
You know what? You're right. I wasn't here. And quite frankly, I haven't been. Yesterday, I wasn't really here at all. I could have been more attentive. I could have been more involved with the people. But I think today makes up for that. Today, I'll tell you what I did today. I led the charge against the group that grenaded our village and massacred our people and robbed our people outside the border. And we successfully took a fob inside their compound and also took home a lot of kids. In which doing so, I also united the Ukandians as one for the first time, leading us in our first war. Secondly, I built a bridge and a relationship to the Koreans behind you, in which we negotiated and we talked to build a bright future for both colonies. Thirdly, I also helped in constructing with the artists and the builders for the town hall, which is located at the Oasis. Those are the things I did today. Oh, a fourth thing I did today is I ran to the pirates' aid to save them, which Fancy just stood on top of Lighthouse with his men, and he did not.
Yes, so let's talk about that. So you say that any man or woman with a torch and a rock is an ook, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
There's
so
like
if
5
that's
of
the
them,
case,
is there?
I believe Fancy has a rock and a torch. I believe many of these fellow people in here have rocks and torches. However, we were left outside of the wall. So it's kind of interesting that if we're supposed to feel included, we feel left out and not communicated with. How do you feel about that?
Well, like I said originally, yes, you were outside the walls, and yes, we made a slip up there. But we also tried to make reparations with Fancy, where we tried to demolish the walls and give Fancy the gate code. On top of that, the people that we came to aid with
They went at
OPD
like 320.
were a group outside the walls,
I don't know
which
why
was
they
the
left.
pirates.
They got a bunch of kids from us.
Fancy was
see.
Pirates' neighbor, and he just stood and watched him die, while us, who are
Just bring it inside.
us Ugandians in the central, are being called. What are we being called, John? What are we being called? We're being called fascists. We're being called. We're being called segregators.
Selfish.
But selfish, yeah. But who were the first respondents to help the pirates?
We were.
We were, Coco. We were there. We died for them.
Look,
But
we
where-
understand.
where-
that
hold
you're
on.
Quick to
Where
fight.
was FancyOrb? Where was FancyOrb?
I think
Does
you know
anybody
where
know
you
where
were.
FancyOrb was? Does anybody? He was on top of the lighthouse.
Protecting his people.
Just watching.
And we watched because
Watching
we
us
understood
die.
that the relationship was intense and that peace stood over war and that we needed to have conversations before rushing in, making aggressive decisions and just acting without thought. Look, the man
Well,
Fancy here
Peaches,
is a
I'd
strategist
say-
at heart and a man of the people.
I'd say an aggressive response is needed for an aggressive assault. If a group comes to our borders and attacks an Ugandan, then every Ugandan should be prepared to put his life on the line. That is the
And we
Ugandan
were.
way. And that is the philosophy that
were.
we teach here.
Well, in my final statement, I will just say that I believe Fancy is trying to make sure everyone can become an Ukandian, including the Koreans over here. And we don't look to isolate anyone.
I completely agree, which is why I built a relationship with the Koreans. I spoke Korean to them, and I was able to speak to them in their own dialect to make them feel reassured. Which backs up my statement from before, where I said if you have a rock and a torch, and you are true to the cause, then I consider
But
you
hold on,
an Ookanda.
but hold on, Coco. You're using that key detail that you spoke with them on a different level, and you had that connection. But that was before they did all that raiding. So if you truly feel like you made a good connection with them and that you're friends, why did they go and do that to the pirates? You're just contradicting yourself.
Because sometimes, Fancy, people do evil things, and it's out of her control.
So stop saying you're friends
But
with them, cool with
as an
them, because you're
Ookandian-
clearly not. You're clearly they are enemies, and they're going to destroy every single one of us, including me. I am probably next.
So if they're going to destroy all of us, Fancy, why didn't you fight and die with your brothers?
Because I waved to them and I made peace with them. Coco, do you
Why
not
didn't you just
understand?
stand there?
I'm pushing for peace. If I attacked them, they would have came for me next. So I'm trying to do everything I can to defend my people.
And
We have different ways of approaching things. You're aggressive and I'm peaceful.
You can be peaceful all you
All
want,
right.
Fancy, but if war shows up at your doorstep, you're going to have to fight back. It doesn't get solved through peace.
And we are ready for
War
that.
gets solved through war. And at the end of the day, you put your people first, I put my people first, but you put yourself first. And what you just told me depicts a very different story than what you were saying earlier, Fancy. You said I wanted to keep my people safe. I thought we were your people.
Oh.
I thought everyone in this
Oh,
room
don't
was your
believe
people.
Coco. You guys know what I mean by that. My team UI, my people who are in my base. Don't believe that. That's...
You guys all know what's going on.
All right. Thank
Everyone in
you.
this room knows
Thank you,
what's going
gentlemen.
on.
Thank you, Jack.
Yes,
We've
yes,
heard
absolutely,
enough.
we do. Thank you. Let's move on to the next thing. But before we continue, round of applause for Peaches here. Thank you to our audience member, everybody. Round of applause.
All right, what time do we
Peaches.
want to
Thank
do
you.
an election tomorrow,
All right.
Jack? Let's choose a time for the election tomorrow. Like maybe earlier in the day would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think a good time. I have a couple more questions for you guys too. So I have one more general question, then two more specific ones, that you guys can give your closing statements. How does everybody feel tomorrow for an election at what is it right now? Yeah, what, maybe 6 p.m. or yeah? Are we good with this time here?
3
Because there's a
p.m.
lot of
EST?
people.
Oh.
You guys good with this time? It's Saturday.
Yeah. What time? 6
Yeah.
p.m.? Hold
So
on.
so 9
Write it
p.m.
down, write it
No,
down.
I think that's too late, Jack. Maybe a little earlier.
Looks like an assistant motherfucker.
Too late. So why don't we do
Like
6 p.m.
4 to
Eastern
5?
Standard Time?
Can we do 4 to 5 Eastern?
4 to 5?
Like maybe 5 Eastern, like me in the middle?
Yeah. You guys are both gonna be there, right?
Yeah, I'll
You're
be
good
there.
too, Coco?
Yeah, I'll be there.
4 to 5?
Yep.
Okay. So let's do that. So everybody knows here, 4 to 5, you better come and vote, all right? That's your duty. All right, so a couple more questions here before we go and wrap everything up. So the first, last general question is in regards to the economy. A lot of people are still running around with rocks and stuff, guys. A lot of people have had some issues with raiding things. What do you plan to do to boost the gear kits and the welfare of the people in the community? Fancy, we'll start you off with that first.
Yeah, so I think a great thing that I can provide that Coco can't is that I actually have a full team. I have a team of 20 to 30 of my closest people, and we can open up a fund. If you ever need resources, if you need kits, weapons, I have a lot of people who can supply that, and that way no one else here has to do the work. It is completely on me. It's something that I can completely offer. And if you are naked, or if you are homeless, or you're just down bad, you can come to us and you can use our fund, and it's free. There's no charges on it or anything. It would just be from us. So that's what I would do, Jack.
All right, thank you, Fancy. CoconutB, what is your thoughts? How are you going to help the economy here?
I will create a naval force north of us, where I will have 3 to 4 tugboats assembled there, where we can go to the oil rigs, collect scrap, components, and the crates. I will then create a tax fund that will not tax my own people, but the tax will come from our enemies outside the border. The one advantage we have in Ookanda is our numbers. We have a heavily armed military force, and we have a lot of citizens. We can use this to our advantage by attacking our enemies south, east, and west that I have already marked on my map. That is my plan, Jack. We're going to tax our enemies.
Thank you, Coconut. Thank you. And so, yeah, You know, ladies and gentlemen, we know these debates can be kind of a negative thing. Both people want to get elected here. So, you know, instead of looking at the negatives here for a moment, this question is going to focus on the positives. What is some positive things, Fancy, you could say about CoconutB?
You know, I think Coco, I think he can be a good leader at times. I know he is a great leader. We've all seen it. I mean, come on, that's just obvious. We all watch his content, and we know he can lead things. Just the question is how he leads things. But yeah, that's what I can say about him. I think he has some good leadership. He can rally up people. He's good at that.
Thank you. Thank you. CoconutB, do you have some, you know, if you had to say a nice comment to Fancy, what's your thoughts on that?
Friendly.
I think Fancy is an incredibly compassionate and empathetic and nice guy. I think Fancy has a lot of compassion. He has a lot of love in his heart. And I love his energy and his enthusiasm. Fancy is for the people. But, you know, I'll say that. I'll end my statement there.
All right. Round of applause for both candidates here. Some positive.
Yo, kill the hazmat! Kill the hazmat! Kill the hazmat! Kill the hazmat!
Okay.
Holy shit.
What the hell was that?
dead.
You okay, Fancy?
I'm good. You good, Coco? You good, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yo, what the fuck?
Who was he? Who was he?
I'm good. I'm good.
Alright, holy shit.
All right.
Milk.
Diamond
Milk.
Kid.
It was milk.
Diamond Kid. That's on you, brother. We're gonna have to figure that one out.
Take that lid off, John.
Okay, everybody, order in the debate here. Order in the debate. Everybody sit down. It's resolved. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Triangle assassinate me and Fancy, but we didn't die.
Let's fucking
We did
go.
not die.
All right, it's double assassination.
Why'd we kill Alan?
All right, and so
I'm gonna go down.
to wrap things up before our closing statements, FancyOrb, you know, imagine you were a voter here. Do you have a question specific to CoconutB that you think's important that you know you go and ask in regards to the audience here and the voters?
wow,
What would you go and ask CoconutB?
That's a really
And
good
CoconutB,
question,
you can
Jack.
respond to that.
I might have to actually think about that. Do you want to toss it to Coco if he has a question?
Yeah, we can toss that over to Coco. Coco, do you have any questions, you know, or concerns? Like, let's say, you know, FancyOrb became the mayor tomorrow of Ookanda. Any concerns, any questions you'd like to ask him? You guys can take a second to think, too. There's no pressure here. This is for the audience, too, so you got to realize, what are the concerns for the audience as well, too? Right, if you were a voter here.
Do you really see us as not your people?
You know, I think I am one with this community. I think I would consider myself an Ook. I would. I have my question. I have my question, Jack.
Okay, you go right ahead. Guys, comms out there, too. Comms, please. Go right ahead, Fancy.
Coco, would you trust me to be a leader and to be a mayor? Do you think I can handle it?
If the people vote for you, and that's what Ookanda wants, I'm sure you'll lead our country to great things, Fancy.
Thank you. That is all, Jack.
All right. Yeah, thank you. And so for the closing comments here, any closing comments? You know, when people go to the box office or to the polls tomorrow, why should they vote for you, Fancy?
Because, you know, I'm going to look out for everyone. I know what it's like to be left behind. I know what it's like to be left out in the dust and not be included, as you can clearly see. So I'm going to make sure everyone is included. I'm going to make sure the Koreans are included because they have just as an equal right as everyone else here to vote. They should be in our community. Look, are they really causing trouble right now? They're peaceful right now. Look at them. So everything you've heard about them is completely false. I don't know if there's another team on the server doing this. Exactly. So I'm going to make sure everyone is involved.
I don't trust you.
Bill, show the papers.
Thank you, Fancy. CoconutB, why should people vote for you tomorrow at the polls?
I see them papers, Bill.
Show the papers, Bill.
I am not a
Coconut B?
perfect
Some
leader.
information.
Okay.
I am not a perfect role model. I am not a perfect human being. I am not perfect in any means. I don't even know how to build. I don't even know how to really play this game. But what I can promise you, if you let me as president, is you will get a president that will put his life on the line every single waking moment. I want us to succeed. I want us to win. We are a family. And although the walls might not physically demonstrate that we're a family, in my heart and in my mind and spirit, you are my brothers and my sisters. We are going through troubled times right now in our society, and we have a lot of conflict. But I believe solemnly in my heart that I will bring this country to a different level. We will heighten our civilization. We will get our taxes and be able to give the people what they need to be able to succeed. We will tighten our borders and up the security. We will have a naval force. We will have an air force. And we will have prosperity in our nation. But please, I cannot stress this enough. In order for peace to be achieved, conflict must happen. We cannot go the route of peace is profit. We must eliminate our threats. And right now, it might be the Koreans, it might not be. A thorough investigation needs to take place. But Ookanda, a vote for me will go a very long way. Thank you for your time and your service.
Ladies and yeah, absolutely. Thank you, CoconutB and FancyOrb. Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our candidates here at Ookanda. Looking out for your best interest. We expect to see you at the polls, all of you, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.